Have you ever noticed that the quietest person in the room often commands the most respect? Have you ever wondered what goes on in the minds of those who speak less but seem to understand more? In a world where people are quick to talk, eager to be heard, and desperate for attention, the silent ones move differently. They don't rush to speak, they don't waste words, and yet their presence is undeniable. What is their secret? What makes them so powerful? The answer lies in how they think, how they observe, and how they control their emotions. And today, we're going to uncover the power of the silent thinker. As the great philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." This is the core principle of those who master silence. They do not react to every little thing. They do not chase validation or let emotions control them. Instead, they choose their battles, they conserve their energy, and they think deeply before they act. This is what makes them powerful. In a world full of noise, distraction, and impulsiveness, silent thinkers stand strong, unshaken by the chaos around them. Their silence is not weakness, it is a weapon. Most people fear silence. They feel the need to fill every moment with words, noise, or distractions. But the silent thinkers? They understand that true strength lies in restraint. They don't engage in meaningless debates, they don't overshare their thoughts, and they don't waste time proving themselves to others. They observe, analyze, and act only when necessary. This is why their words carry weight, because they speak with intention, not impulse. The world listens when a silent person finally speaks, because their words come from wisdom, not insecurity. This level of discipline and control isn't just a natural gift, it's a skill anyone can develop. Now imagine living your life with this kind of control. Imagine walking into a room and instantly commanding respect, not because you're the loudest, but because your energy speaks for you. Imagine never being swayed by insults, never losing control in an argument, and never feeling the need to prove anything to anyone. This is the power of a silent thinker. This is the essence of a stoic man. You don't need to be the loudest to be the strongest. You just need to be the most composed. So, if you want to rise above the noise, if you want to be respected, admired, and in full control of your emotions, it's time to embrace this mindset. The greatest leaders, warriors, and philosophers of history all mastered the art of silence, and now you can too. Stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to develop the mind of a silent thinker, how to control your emotions, how to sharpen your mind, and how to become someone who doesn't just exist in the world, but dominates it. Number 1. Silent but strong. Why do some of the most influential and respected people in history prefer silence over noise? It's because true power doesn't come from speaking the loudest, but from understanding the most. Think about the great leaders, philosophers, and strategists throughout history. They were not the ones who constantly spoke just to be heard. Instead, they listened, observed, and chose their words carefully. Their silence was not emptiness. It was calculation. In a world that rewards impulsiveness and attention-seeking, the ability to stay quiet and think deeply is a rare and valuable skill. Silent thinkers process information on a different level. While others react emotionally or rush to voice their opinions, they take the time to analyze situations from multiple angles. This allows them to make smarter decisions, avoid unnecessary conflicts, and see opportunities others miss. They do not engage in meaningless distractions or conversations that drain their energy. Instead, they focus on what truly matters, making every action count. Their silence is not weakness, it is their strength, their weapon, and their source of control. Many people assume that talking more equates to intelligence or influence, but the reality is the opposite. The more you speak, the more you reveal about yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, and your weaknesses. The strongest men are the ones who know when to stay silent, allowing others to expose themselves while they remain composed. This level of restraint gives them an air of mystery and authority, making people naturally drawn to them. When they finally do speak, their words carry weight, and people listen. If you want to develop this mindset, start by practicing patience and self-discipline. Resist the urge to speak just for the sake of filling silence. Instead, observe more, think deeper, and choose your words with purpose. When you master the art of silence, you gain control, not only over yourself, but also over how others perceive you. This is how true influence is built, not through noise, but through quiet confidence, calculated actions, and the power of a mind that doesn't need validation from anyone. Number 2, the art of listening. Do you know what's more powerful than talking? Listening. In a world where everyone is eager to speak, those who listen stand out. Most people talk to be heard, to impress, or to fill the silence, but few actually take the time to absorb what others are saying. This is why great leaders, trusted advisors, and highly respected individuals all have one thing in common: they master the art of listening. When you listen, you do more than hear words. You understand emotions, perspectives, and intentions. This makes you not only wiser, but also someone people naturally trust. Listening is a skill that gives you a major advantage in relationships, business, and life. When you truly listen, you make others feel valued. People respect those who give them their full attention because it's rare. While most are busy waiting for their turn to speak, the best communicators are the ones who stay silent, absorb information, and respond thoughtfully. This builds deeper connections, makes people more comfortable around you, and positions you as someone who is insightful rather than impulsive. The power of listening goes beyond just gaining respect. It helps you understand people on a deeper level. When you observe not only what people say, but also how they say it, you pick up on unspoken emotions, hidden motives, and valuable insights. This makes you a more strategic thinker, allowing you to navigate conversations and situations with ease. The best negotiators, leaders, and influencers don't dominate discussions. They control them by letting others speak first, gathering information, and then responding with precision. If you want people to trust and admire you, start by listening more than you talk. Resist the urge to interrupt. Avoid thinking about what you'll say next while someone is speaking, and focus on genuinely understanding them. The more you listen, the more knowledge you gain, the more influence you build, and the more people will respect you. In a world full of noise, silence is a superpower, and those who master it will always have the upper hand. Number 3, saying less makes you more powerful. In a world where people talk endlessly to prove themselves, the true masters of power understand that words should be used sparingly. When you speak less, you force people to pay attention to what you do say. You create an air of mystery, and mystery creates intrigue. People naturally respect and admire those who don't reveal everything because their silence suggests confidence, control, and depth. Instead of wasting words, they let their presence and actions speak for them. Most people assume that power comes from being the loudest in the room, but the opposite is true. Those who dominate conversations often expose their weaknesses. whether it's through emotional reactions, unnecessary details, or impulsive statements. Meanwhile, the silent observer remains in control, gathering information and choosing their words with precision. When you listen more and speak less, you gain a significant advantage in any situation. You learn what others think, what their weaknesses are, and how to navigate interactions strategically. This ability to hold back and analyze before responding makes you appear more intelligent, composed, and authoritative. Silence also creates a sense of authority. Have you ever noticed that the most respected individuals don't rush to give their opinions? Instead, they take their time, process the situation, and only speak when necessary. This gives their words weight and makes people listen when they finally do speak. Those who talk too much often diminish their credibility, while those who speak less maintain an aura of wisdom and power. This is why the strongest leaders, warriors, and thinkers throughout history have all practiced restraint. Because true power isn't about proving yourself to everyone. It's about making others come to you. If you want to develop a powerful presence and an unshakable mindset, start by practicing silence. Let others reveal themselves while you remain composed. Choose your words carefully, and when you do speak, make sure it counts. People will begin to respect you more, listen to you more, and even fear your presence because they won't be able to predict your thoughts or emotions. In a world full of noise, those who control their words control their power. Will you be one of them? Number 4. Arguments without saying a word. Most people believe that winning an argument means talking louder, proving their point aggressively, or outsmarting their opponent with clever words. But in reality, the strongest people don't engage in these verbal battles at all. Instead, they stay calm, listen intently, and allow others to exhaust themselves. When you resist the urge to argue, you take away the other person's power. You don't give them the emotional reaction they expect, and this often frustrates them more than any words could. Silence forces them to reflect, second-guess their own statements, and sometimes even realize their mistakes without you having to say a word. Silence is a weapon that few know how to use effectively. When someone is trying to provoke you into a heated discussion, your lack of reaction makes them uneasy. People naturally expect resistance in an argument, but when you remain composed, it throws them off balance. They start speaking more, trying harder to justify themselves, and in doing so, they often expose their own inconsistencies and weaknesses. By staying silent, you gather valuable information, allowing the other person to reveal their true emotions, hidden fears, and even their own doubts about their argument. The more they talk, the more they lose control, while you remain in a position of strength. The most powerful people in history, leaders, warriors, and strategists, understood that silence can be more effective than words. When you refuse to argue, you show an unshakable level of confidence and self-control. This intimidates others because they cannot predict your next move, and they don't know what you're thinking, and this uncertainty works in your favor. Meanwhile, those who speak too much in an argument often make mistakes, say things they later regret, or weaken their credibility. The person who stays calm and listens is the one who truly holds the power. If you want to win arguments effortlessly, start by speaking less and observing more. Let others reveal their weaknesses while you remain composed and strategic. Don't waste energy trying to prove yourself to those who are too emotional to listen. Instead, use your silence to gain control over any situation. People will respect you more, take your presence more seriously, and, most importantly, realize that arguing with you is a battle they cannot win. Number 5. Stop talking too much and start thinking more. Do you ever catch yourself saying things you regret, or talking just to fill the silence? Many people struggle with this, not because they lack intelligence, but because they haven't learned the power of restraint. In today's world, where everyone wants to be heard, speaking too much can actually work against you. The more you talk, the more you expose your thoughts, emotions, and even insecurities. On the other hand, those who master the art of speaking less naturally command more respect. Their words carry weight because they don't waste them. Speaking less doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're in control. People who talk too much often speak without thinking, saying things they later regret. They give away their plans, reveal too much about their personal lives, or let emotions dictate their words. But those who take a moment to think before they speak project confidence and wisdom. When you speak only when necessary, people listen more attentively because they know you don't talk just for the sake of talking. Your words become valuable, and with value comes influence. Restraint is a skill that separates leaders from followers. The strongest individuals, whether in business, relationships, or social settings, are those who listen more than they talk. They observe, analyze, and process information before responding. This gives them the ability to make smarter decisions and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Meanwhile, those who speak impulsively often find themselves misunderstood, overlooked, or even disrespected. The less you speak, the more people wonder about what you're thinking, and that mystery alone gives you power. If you want to stop wasting words and start gaining more respect, begin by practicing silence. The next time you feel the urge to fill an awkward pause or prove a point, pause instead. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Will this add value? When you learn to control your words, you gain control over how others perceive you. You become more respected, more influential, and more powerful. In a world full of noise, those who master silence rise above the rest. Will you be one of them? So, here is my conclusion. Mastering the art of speaking less and thinking more is not just a skill, it's a strategy for power, influence, and self-mastery. When you learn to control your words, you gain control over your reputation, your relationships, and even your own mind. The greatest leaders, strategists, and respected individuals throughout history understood this simple truth. Those who speak less hold more power. They are not rushed by emotions, nor do they feel the need to prove themselves with excessive words. Instead, they let their silence build strength, and when they do speak, their words command attention. Imagine walking into a room where your presence alone demands respect, where people lean in when you speak because they know your words have weight. This is the power of restraint. Those who talk endlessly become forgettable, but those who listen, observe, and choose their words wisely are the ones who leave a lasting impact. When you stop talking too much, you start thinking more, making better decisions, and earning the respect of those around you. Your silence becomes your weapon, your patience becomes your strategy, and your words become your legacy. So, will you continue to let words slip carelessly, or will you start using them with purpose? Will you be the one who talks just to be heard, or the one who remains silent and lets their actions speak? The choice is yours. But remember, in a world that rewards noise, true power belongs to those who master silence. Speak less, think more, and watch as the world begins to listen. My friend, the power of silence is something few truly understand, but those who do are the ones who rise above the rest. When you learn to speak less and think more, you gain something priceless: control. Control over your emotions, your words, and how others perceive you. As the great philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The more you listen, the more you learn. The less you speak, the more impact your words will have. This is the secret to influence, respect, and true power. So I challenge you, starting today, practice restraint. Don't waste words. Observe more, react less, and let your silence do the talking. When you do speak, make sure your words have meaning, purpose, and strength. Watch how people begin to respect you more, trust you more, and even seek your opinion. This is how you build presence, confidence, and control over your life. The world is full of noise, but those who master silence will always stand out. If this message resonated with you, my friend, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful insights like this. And remember, true strength isn't about proving yourself. It's about knowing when to stay silent and let your presence speak for itself. Keep growing, keep thinking, and keep mastering the art of silence. I'll see you in the next one.